been engaged in my both adult life and young adult life. Starting having worked in Africa at the age of 22, specifically being in the Southern Africa region, working in Zimbabwe as an educator at Hartsel High School, for those of you who know that region. And now representing the US government as one of the few academics that participate in our educational exchange programs, both as a Fulbright Scholar and an Ambassador Distinguished Scholar for Ethiopia, having taught both at Bahardar University and at Barbara Mensch University in Ethiopia, and Fort Hare University in South Africa. For those of you who know, Fort Hare is the college, initially the college that taught almost all of the major liberation leaders in Southern Africa. And of course, I want to thank Mel Foote, because he is someone that I interviewed 20 years ago for my dissertation. So I want to talk about lineage. I follow in a lineage, Pan-African lineage. I'm that middle generation that benefited from the civil rights and Black Power movement. And now here I stand and work with the next generation, I don't know, ZZZ, wherever. And so I want to focus on the importance of higher education specifically. So just this past, I guess a month ago, I had the opportunity to host the Mandela Washington Fellows. As you know, I believe about 200 of them arrived here in the US, and they were dispersed all throughout the US, right? And so in Los Angeles, the US Africa Institute, of which I'm one of the executive founding members, hosted them. Why is this so significant if we're talking about the role of the diaspora, and more specifically if we're talking about the role of investing in what I believe is our most important asset, not the minerals, but our young people. And that's what I've been engaged in for basically my entire life, starting at age 22. I believe that not only should we invest in initiatives that build and build up the educational systems in Africa, particularly higher education, both on the continent, but here in the US, in the diaspora. For those of us who are part of the descendants of Africans, right, the larger diaspora, we normally have sort of a mythological relationship to what does it really mean, right? What does Africa really mean to us, since we didn't grow up there? But to be able to have this opportunity to exchange with each other, which is what I had the opportunity at such an early age, and it fundamentally transformed my life, that to be able to institutionalize this, right, with the support of the US government and the larger institutions, I think is incredibly important. So I currently, on my own, mentor and sponsor, right now, Ethiopian students, both on the continent, or in Ethiopia, and here in the US, and I pair them with Black American professionals, right? The reason why I'm doing this, and this is just sort of one way in which we can think about this. For those of you who've traveled internationally, or for African immigrants, you know how difficult it is to navigate a new society or a set of institutions. So being a cultural ambassador, I make sure that these young people are directly connected to people who, number one, care about their interests, number two, facilitate their entry into our educational institutions, right, and within their particular field of study. And then as we mentor them through that process, we also then mentor them into our networks, our professional networks. Why is that important? We all know, folks, that the way in which you get jobs, right, is through your networks, who you know. So we're creating a pipeline, a seamless pipeline from first how you even begin this process of doing this, coming and studying in our universities, right? And then connecting with our Black professional institutions. The flip of that is many of these Black professionals, Black American professionals, they want to work in Africa, but they never have. By now they have a cultural ambassador, someone they've invested in, someone they've mentored, right, who can play that role of sharing with them how to connect back home to their home institutions, right? And so literally what I've been able to do over the years is work with NOMA, the National Organization of Minority Architects, the Black engineers. I have a health background, so all of the, I guess it would be the Black physicians, Black public health professionals, Black whatever area we are involved in, right? So I guess my contribution or comments would be really bolster, really build that institutional linkage. That's been one of the major challenges I've had, is that we talk about there are all these opportunities, but then the pathway, it's not there. So if we can focus on how to create that pathway, it would facilitate, I think, this concept of what I'm calling dual development for both Africans on the continent, young people, and then of course those of us who are in the diaspora here, whether it's in the US, whether it's in South America or the Caribbean or wherever else we may be. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity.